Hey guys, so we're here to give you another top 10 from our top 10 series. I hope you guys are as excited as I am. Today I have the top 10 unsolved mysteries. Woo! But first, I want to know, what are you most afraid of? Let me know down there. So let's get right into this. So starting you guys off at number 10, we have the Red Path Mansion. This story took place in the 1900s, well, 1901 to be exact. We have the murder of Ada Maria Mills Redpath and her son Clifford in their luxurious Montreal mansion. Ada was an extremely wealthy widow who suffered from arthritis. Her son was the picture of health and he was preparing to write the Canadian bar exam. The mother and son ended up getting shot and they died. Some suspected the mother, others suspected the son. Strangely, the coroner wrote his report from details given by a doctor who wasn't even at the murder scene. Even stranger, the police were never called to the mansion. Less than 48 hours later, the burials were done. In a matter of a week, life in the neighborhood returned to normal and the murders were never mentioned again. This remains one of the most fascinating mysteries in Canadian history. Sailing into our number 9 spot, we have the Bouvet Island. Deep in the South Atlantic, Bouvet Island has been described as one of the most isolated places on Earth. The nearest landmass to it is Antarctica, which is more than 1,700 kilometers south. No one has ever inhabited this island, and since plant life is unsustainable, it is unlikely that anyone ever will. Yet in 1964, when a British expedition arrived from South Africa, much to everyone's disbelief, they discovered an abandoned lifeboat in a lagoon on the island. Close by, they found oars, wood, a drum, and a copper tank. But the strange part, there was absolutely no trace of any passengers. The boat had no identifiable marks and therefore could not be tracked back to any nation or shipping company, which was a requirement for all boats and lifeboats back then. Even more strangely, 2 years later, another expedition was sent to the island, and the lifeboat had vanished as well as all the objects around it. To this day, no one knows how the boat got there or what happened to the people that were in it or who they were. Shining our way into the number 8 spot, we have the Hessdalen Lights. In 1997, a man was camping with his family in a valley called Hessdalen in Norway. Around 6:30 in the evening, he was walking outside and noticed 3 lights in a triangle formation. They were flickering in the darkening sky. The lights appeared as if they were just floating there, and the glow became more intense with each flicker. A few moments later, the lights disappeared. Apparently, many people witnessed the phenomenon that night. It became known as the Hessdalen Lights. They've reported to glow in many different colors, such as red, blue, and yellow. They have been seen as streaking across the sky at great speeds or floating with just a short distance above the ground. Scientists have been studying these lights for years, but haven't been able to come up with a widely acceptable explanation. In our number 7 spot, we have the legendary Bermuda Triangle. Also known as the Devil's Triangle, is a loosely defined region in the western part of the North Atlantic Ocean. Supposedly, a number of aircrafts and ships are said to have disappeared under mysterious circumstances. The triangle's 3 vertices are said to be in Miami, Puerto Rico, and Bermuda. This area is one of the most heavily traveled ship lanes in the world. The earliest allegation of an unusual disappearance appeared on September 17, 1950, and then 2 years later, there was another disappearance with no signs of the ships. Of course, there are some skeptics who said that these disappearances never even happened. Diving our way into number 6, we have the City of Atlantis. According to the writings of Greek philosopher Plato, the city suddenly vanished. Plato describes it in dialogues as a powerful and advanced kingdom that sank in a day and a night into the ocean around 9,600 BC. No technology so far has revealed any such city on an ocean bed. For a long time, Azores was believed to be one of the locations of the City of Atlantis. Jumping our way into number 5, we have the story of D.B. Cooper. In 1971, the day before Thanksgiving, Dan Cooper boarded flight number 305 in Portland bound for Seattle. While in the air, he opened his briefcase showing a bomb to the flight attendant and proceeded to hijack the plane. The plane landed in Seattle and he demanded $200,000 in cash for parachutes and food. After releasing the passengers, he along with pilots and the flight attendant took off from Seattle with the marked bills. 45 minutes after takeoff, he lowered the rear stairs and somewhere north of Portland jumped into the night. 9 years later in 1980, just north of Portland and the Columbian River, a young boy was digging a fire pit and uncovered 3 bundles of cash. The bills matched the marked serial numbers that were given to Cooper. That was the last bit of evidence that was found and he's still missing to this day. Searching our way into the number 4 spot, we have the tale of the Eilean Lighthouse mystery. In 1900, on the Scottish island of Eilean lived 3 lighthouse keepers. Literally, they were the only ones on this island. The day after Christmas, a supply ship arrived to the island, and to the crew's surprise, the lighthouse keepers were not waiting for them on the island's small dock. So a replacement lighthouse keeper was eventually sent to investigate. He climbed the rock staircase leading up to the lighthouse. Soon he discovered a disturbing final entry on December 17th. And there was a claim made that the island had been struck by severe winds worse than anything they had ever experienced in their careers. Further entries recorded that the storm continued to rage for a few days. Secure in the lighthouse, the men began to pray. The final entry said, "Storm ended, sea calm, God is over all." But the strange part about all this lighthouse was visible from the island of Lewis, and no storms were reported during the days noted in the log. Sailing our way into number 3, we have the SS Ourang Medan. This is one of the most chilling death at sea stories out there. In June of 1947, multiple ships traveling in the Strait of Malacca received a terrifying SOS message from the Dutch ship called the SS Ourang Medan that read, "All officers including the captain are dead, possible whole crew dead." The nearest merchant ship traveled as fast as they could, but upon boarding the Ourang Medan, they were horrified as they realized every crew member was in fact dead. Their corpses were scattered on the deck, their eyes were still open, and all of them had expressions of complete terror left on their faces. The radio operator was found deceased as well, with his fingers still on the Morse sending key. The strange part, there were no attack marks on any of the crew members. The other ship was going to tow the SS Ourang Medan back to shore, but before they could, smoke began to come up from the decks below. The ship exploded and sank. To this day, the exact fate of the ship's crew remains a mystery. Stomping our way into number 2, we have the Devil's Footprints. On February 8th in 1855, a mysterious footprint shaped as a hoof appeared overnight after a heavy snowfall in southern Devon. According to reports, these footprints stretched over 100 miles and went through solid walls and haystacks and appeared on the other side as if there was no barrier. The footprints were always 8.5 inches apart and had one foot going in front of the other, suggesting a creature that's bipedal rather than a creature that walked on all fours. Some suggest that these footprints belong to the devil, who was roaming the countryside looking for sinners. So let's recap. We talked about murder, abandoned island, mysterious lights disappearing, and mysterious footprints. But nothing compares to the creepiest unsolved mystery of them all. Coming in at the number 1 spot, we have the Zodiac Letters. The Zodiac killer committed a total of 5 murders and seriously wounded 2 people between the late 1960s and the early 1970s in the San Francisco Bay Area. Creepily, his identity is still unknown to this day. After these murders took place, the killer began to taunt the police and the local newspapers, one of the more noted papers being the San Francisco Chronicle. Over time, he would send them 4 letters containing encrypted messages. Out of the 4, only 1 has ever been deciphered. These letters contained taunts and would produce several leads, but resulted in 0 arrests. His final victim was a cab driver, with which the Zodiac killer walked off with his wallet and a fragment from his shirt, which he later mailed to the San Francisco Chronicle. For a while, a man named Arthur Lee Allen was the man on top of the suspect list, but handwriting experts were unable to match his handwriting to the cipher or the various letters, nor did the fingerprints ever tie him to the scene. Over the years, many people have claimed to know the killer's identity, but so far nothing has been proven through the court. Well, there you guys have it, the top 10 unsolved mysteries. Let me know down in the comment section if I missed anything, or let me know what your favorite unsolved mystery is. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next Tuesday. So make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe so I can tell you even more cool top 10 stories. We have more videos for you guys right over here, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye!